This morning, former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort agreed to cooperate with the Justice Department, in particular concerning Robert Mueller's Russia probe. Although Manafort's defenders have long insisted that he would not cooperate with Mueller and that he didn't know anything that could incriminate the president, it appears that self-preservation has won out. So, as one of the largest hurricanes to make landfall, the northern United States floods the Carolinas. The only topic on everyone's lips is collusion. But who is Paul Manafort? With so many names being thrown around thanks to Mueller's investigation, it can sometimes feel like an episode of Game of Thrones. Here's a quick dive into Manafort's background to get you caught up to speed. Manafort does a very good job of comporting like a Bond villain, seemingly villainously, almost cartoonishly wealthy, often doing business in cigar clubs, assumably swathed in exotic animal skins. Most famously, Paul Manafort was in the news at the beginning of the investigation for those very same fashion choices. An inquiry into his finances provided receipts from Alan Couture, an exclusive Manhattan boutique. These receipts show that Manafort spent $15,000 on an ostrich leather jacket, $9,500 on an ostrich vest, and $18,500 on a python skin coat. More ridiculous than spending almost $30,000 on outerwear is how Manafort reportedly paid via wire transfer from various international accounts. Aside from the clear picture of obscene, bordering on revolting wealth that Manafort embodied, he has also remained a champion for pro-Russian sentiment for years. For decades, Manafort made a living advising pro-Russian politicians in Ukraine's ruling party. He even took on an aide with clear financial ties to a security company that wanted to help Putin spy on his own citizens. Manafort carried this pro-Putin sentiment with him into Donald Trump's campaign with impressive success. When Russia invaded and annexed the Crimean Peninsula, Trump was against it. It wasn't until Manafort took Lewandowski's position as campaign chair that Trump's position suddenly flipped to allow the current romance we see between Putin and the president today. But that's all old news. Today, Manafort agreed to a deal that has him pleading guilty to one count of conspiracy against the US and one count of conspiracy to obstruct justice due to attempts to tamper with witnesses. This is in exchange for dropping his myriad of Scrooge McDuck charges, including, but not limited to, money laundering, tax fraud, failing to disclose foreign bank accounts, violating federal foreign lobbying law, and lying to the Department of Justice. It's important to remember that although these latter charges will be dropped, according to the court, Manafort still admits to them. But why exactly is it relevant if no justice will be pursued for these charges? Well, they offer a very troubling parallel. You may remember the last big target in the probe, Michael Cohen, initially pursued for suspected collusion with Russia, among other things. Cohen was famously called out by the president in an August 22nd tweet praising Manafort, who, unlike Michael Cohen, refused to break or make up stories in order to get a deal. Now, excusing how tone-deaf that tweet sounds following this morning's news of Manafort's deal, it is extremely important to note that the charges Manafort won't be tried for are almost identical to those Cohen pled guilty to. In case you forgot, Cohen pleaded guilty to 8 criminal counts, charges that included tax fraud, false statements to a bank, and campaign finance violations tied to his work with Trump. Now, while none of this information directly indicts Trump, it is more than a little disconcerting that people surrounding his 2016 victory have been dropping like flies to charges of treason and the like. It is becoming progressively more clear that what we are witnessing is Robert Mueller closing in on tangible proof that we are currently being governed by an illegitimate president who achieved his position through illegal means. The evidence is stacking up in a very clear direction, and so the question begins to take form. What does a bot presidency mean for us as Americans moving forward? My name is Samantha. Thank you for watching Prompt. Be sure to subscribe and click here for more videos.